there's no real ground, there's no Marines really, so I'm not expecting to see medevacs. So maybe some Vikings, maybe some Ravens. Ravens for their Seeker missile. That tends to be kind of a late game, so I'm expecting to see some Vikings. Another starport going up. Interesting. Okay. Another starport going up. Okay, so 4 starports by Nick, so he's going to be investing heavily into some air units. No static defenses up on this side. Not that you would really expect to put up a spore crawler, but maybe a missile turret over here would be about appropriate. Does Nick even have an engineering bay? He skipped his engineering bay altogether, probably because, like I said, he didn't even upgrade he didn't even build infantry in order to really upgrade them. A Nidus network coming into play. Okay, so wow, Niduses can be really sick when you're a ZT team because you need sight to drop a Nidus canal. It doesn't have to be on creep, but you do need sight. And if you have a Terran ally with a comstat, then you got sight pretty much anywhere you want it. Red player is grabbing another expansion up here. Blue has just kind of spread his overlords out. He's got a 3rd hatchery in his base, continuing to pump out those hydras. They're sticking with their guns. Nick's building an armory and some Vikings, so maybe we'll see some doors. I don't know out of just one factory, though. He's got to be upgrading these Vikings. That's very important. Excuse me, pardon my cough. Gathering more mutalisks, looking at the armies of the players. 21 hydras and some 6 Vikings, 6 siege tanks by Nick and Than, and then we have a combined total of some 13 Roches, 17 mutas, and 21 hydras. So pretty versatile armies by both players. Again, so many ground units are going to be so susceptible to these siege tanks. It's going to take it's really going to be a micro war, I imagine, if this push happens, to try and take out these siege tanks, or see if these hydras can take out those mutalisks before the siege tanks get taken down. Because it looks like, I don't imagine that Nick's going to push out those siege tanks to attack, because they're so slow, but we'll see what happens. So there's some pinging going on. Trying to see what each player is up to. I'm looking at each camera right now, moving around that. So those get eaten, scouting. Oh, up here. My bad. Okay, it looks like there was a little fight over the Zelnaga Tower up here. Marines chasing an Overseer, dropping a Changeling. Nick is moving out his Vikings. Tan is just kind of looking out here. Those Marines gonna get eaten alive by those roaches. Vikings moving in, Hydras moving in. Oh, I saw them. There's Vikings right in. Vikings have great time. Get out there. Otherwise, the evil is bound to speed up the Vikings. And the units is getting hit. Things do not look good. Again, I want to stress there that the Viking range is so much longer than the Mutalist range that you don't want to just move your Vikings straight up, knock on the Mutalist door like that. You want to get in as many free hits as you can while the Mutalists have to clear their distance. Mutalists are just moving in. There's nothing to defend against. Blue is staying behind. I don't know why. 20 probes getting taken. Oh, the Mutalists treating the Hydras. Ground army is getting torn apart by siege tanks. Mutalists sniping those siege tanks like expected. Vikings staying back, that's good. You see how huge the range is. And almost all those siege tanks going down. Blue's army is probably actually now there are enough Hydras out here that I'd be worried if I were Blue even without those siege tanks. All players reinforcing. Again, looking at the actions for a minute, Blue is just hammering his keyboard. Red is just hammering his keyboard. Nick is struggling very hard to rebuild, dropping those mules, so his economy is going to go back up through the roof. It's at 1/2 of the other players right now. Red has been mining out of this base, and in the meantime, Blue secured the high yield during the course of that battle. I apologize for not catching that. So Nick and Than are getting grossly outmined by both of these players. Tan is mining up the battle here. siege tank not in siege mode. Another siege tank going down. Sam pulling his guys out of the Midas Canal. Trying to defend it. These Hydras just running. Mutants coming in tonight. The Vikings coming to clean up the Mutants. Those Vikings are at 1-1. Mutants are at 2. Again, the retreat. Dan is pulling back. The Vikings are just... Dan is going back into his Nidus Canal. Are we going to see a Nidus drop? Let me move to Dan's point of view real fast. So Dan is putting a... so he's looking at the enemy base. I imagine Nick is scouting around too, so there it goes. Nick comstats. And the Nidus goes up. Does Red even notice it? He's not pulling any of those drones off to kill it. Just building corruptors to deal with those Vikings, not even noticing that he's about to get Nidus. Up goes the worm, the scream of death. The armies, the rest of the armies are all the way over here. Hydra's pouring out, taking down corruptors without any prejudice. Oh, that lair is gonna have Hydra's gonna go down. The Hive goes down, corruptors go down, the Mutalists probably are gonna... Wow. There's still no Hydra's, and Hydra's still pouring in from up here. Sam. 1-1, Hydra's, 2 Hydra's. Oh my goodness. Racking up on both sides. Looks like Blue is gonna clean out this Hydra's. That was absolutely devastating. Red's income was cut down to 1/3 of what it was. Just because Nick was up here taking out the expansion at the same time. Oh my goodness, I missed that. Nick absolutely cleaned up this expansion. Well, the Nidus attack was just so exciting that I missed it. But oh my God, Red absolutely hurting right now. Look at all these overlords. If we had just some Vikings back here, my goodness, that would be adorable. All these tech buildings surviving. However, they're not on creep, so they're slowly losing health. Creep tumor, or maybe this kid's gonna build another harvester over here just to build the gas. Yeah, but there's no minerals here, so harvester's kind of a waste over there. Broodlords, oh goodness, so there's been some ticking up in that time. At least he has some Broodlords to show for it. 3,300 minerals he's accumulated and unspent. Oh wow. Meanwhile, Dan securing his own high yield. Finally, these players expanding out. Blue still has a sizable army. Red doesn't have that much of an army, but he does have Broodlords, which can eat, Hydras, eat siege tanks. Vikings, probably gonna nail them. No corruptors that I see. Looking back at the production tab, Red's, popping out Mutalisks. Blue's continuing to upgrade, and Dan is building 10 Hydras, just reinforcing all those Hydras he lost to that push, and grabbing another expansion. Red grabbing another base. He's gonna need it soon. He has mined this one out completely, so he can't just retake it. Blue's mining the high yield, unharassed. He just has 5 spore crawlers, or 5 spine crawlers sitting there. The armies of this unit's about even in composition. I think Blue is disproportionately represented. Oh, another Nidus rush. Oh, wow. And looks like he's blocking the canal. He needs to move so he can get out of there. Taking out the Hydra. Wonderful Viking moving into absolutely wonderful. More Hydras popping out of the Nidus. I think both of these evolution chambers are upgrading. If he chills up and stops the upgrades, that would be good. Nidus goes down. Hydra's pouring in. Nick just cleaning up the expansion here. Blue does fight off all of Dan's forces, and these Vikings are gonna get this hatchery. And they're gonna be forced to number of Hydras. Again, Blue's army is just looking at income. Blue's income is extraordinarily high. He does have the high yield. It looks like Nick's gonna see this. Does he notice there? Well, he had seen the creep, but now he sees the actual defense setup over there.